So let's get started now. And over here, we will first of all understand what are we doing, what is the core objective, uh, what is the overall discussion all about, right? So I will say that this project is all about, we will try to discuss how can the end-to-end retail sales and inventory analytics will be done. Within few minutes, I will be sharing with you one data set also with which we will work end to end. So we need to understand that how this end to end demonstration will be done, how we can get the insights from any given data which contains the sales and inventory portion of it. Before we will jump and study about the data set and how can we start our flow and get the insights at the end of the day, first of all, we need to understand what the business wants. So the very first thing, whenever you start working on any data analyst project is the business understanding. You will have to spend some time to understand the core requirements of the business. Now, this specific problem statement or this business understanding is something which you will get once you have a good interaction with your clients, with your stakeholders. So imagine you are hired as a data analyst in any of the retail company. Now, the business wants you to answer maybe 4 questions or 6 questions. What are those questions? It could be the company wants to understand from your DA skills. They will provide you some sort of data set and they want to understand that, hey, can you just let me know, are we, let's say, growing in revenue? Because this is very important to get a clear understanding that whether the company will grow in future or not, whether the company will survive in future or not. So it's very important that on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, on a quarterly basis, company should grow. So with the data set that we will be having, we want to understand that are we growing in the revenue or not? If yes, can you help me to understand as a DA person which regions or maybe the brands or maybe the channel and channels help the company to drive the performance? Help the company to drive the performance. Third question could be that, let's say, to grow my product, to help the sales team to generate more quantity of sales, I'm doing some sort of promotions, and promotions require actually huge amount of cost from the company's end as well, right? So my next question could be that do the promotions are actually helpful, are actually increasing the sales or not? And the last question could be, because there will be an inventory, so it might be the case that the after some point of time there will be a stock out. What is the meaning of stock out? It simply means that customers are demanding some sort of product, but company doesn't have that in their inventory. So there will be a loss of revenue in that specific scenario, right? So the next question could be, are we losing the are we losing the revenue because of stock out? So these are the most widely asked questions. These are the most widely asked questions, which might be the clients, the stakeholders are expecting from you. And as a data analyst, you have to work on getting these numbers. So what I'm trying to convey that whenever you will be working with any specific project, first of all, it will be very important to have a clear understanding of the business use case. What actually at the end of the day the company is expecting from you. So over here, it's not about building charts. We're not here to build charts. We're not here to help management take decisions. We are here to maybe do a time trend analysis. We are here to do maybe a segmentation specific task. We are here to maybe do a comparative case study that whether the promotions are effective or not. We are here to check that whether the operational risk is there or not because of the stock out problem. And this actually helps you to get the mindset that how your further steps could be. Because if you don't know the problem statement clearly, how will you decide your upcoming steps? How will you perform well in your upcoming steps? And that's the major reason it's very, very important to have a clear understanding of this business use case. I hope it is clear to everyone. Shall we move further? So, first component is the business understanding. All good? Now, once let's suppose you understand the business problem pretty well. Let's suppose you got the business problem pretty well. What is the second specific step? The second step is to understand about data. So it's about data understanding. Shall we go ahead and talk about that? All good till so far? Okay. Now, when we talk about data understanding, data, what do we mean by data? Data is something which contains raw facts and figures, but right now what we are dealing with is structured data, which is in the form of a rows and columns. So we will be having multiple features and we will be having multiple records available, right? So now what I will be sharing with you is a data set, which we will spend some time to help have a good understanding of this data set, what actually each and every column indicates. And then maybe we will deep dive further into it and we will work on data preparation task. So when we talk about data understanding, so you can see all of these are the columns that we have on a given data. So I can see we will be having a date, SKU. I hope everybody can see my screen. Brand, segment, category, channel, region, pack type, price unit, promotion, delivery days. Then we have stock availability. We have delivered quantity and units sold. So all of these are the, I would say, columns that we will be having, which we also call as a features in a given data. And if I'll talk about the number of records, so you can see in this entire data, I will be having almost 1,90,758 specific records. 757 specific records that we will be having. So in total, it's a very huge amount of data. Almost 2 lakh records are there, right? So this is the real purpose that we should be able to understand what actually each and every column represents, how many number of records or data size that we will be having, what is actually missing in this data, which maybe definitely we have to figure it out. We need to do a feature engineering task. We need to create some new additional features to work on it. Now, we cannot move further to the next interesting step. So just give me 1 second. I'm uploading this data in my drive and then I will share with you all. So just give me a second. Let me create one folder for today's discussion. And our entire work of this project demonstration will be done over here. So this is the drive link for everyone to access the content for today. I'm just now uploading the data set. It will be uploaded very soon. And now it is done. You can just refresh this drive and you will find one sales dataset XLS file. Just download this file. This is the same file which I'm showcasing you on my screen. And once you complete this task, please let me know so that we can proceed further. Done for everyone? Quickly, if you can give me a confirmation, that would be great. Now, when you observe this data, what do you think are the specific columns, are the specific features which might be missing? I mean, if we add those columns, it will make more sense to create the interesting dashboards out of it. Any guesses? Any intuition? With the given columns, exactly. So Nayan have mentioned that revenue is something which is missing over here. And if we have a revenue, maybe we can add some more interesting insights. What could be other thing? Maybe you can say profit could be other thing. If we have a revenue, we can estimate the profit, which is nothing but how much is the total cost company is actually devoting minus the total revenue it is creating. If we have a column of total cost, we don't have a cost, so maybe profit might be difficult, but it's okay. At least revenue is something which we can create as per the given columns, right? So what I can do, I can just copy this set of features that we will be having in this notepad. So these are the features that we will be having. So what we have to do, first of all, we have to understand these features. I hope the understanding of these features is quite simple. What is this date column, SKU, brand? Every column represents its uh, own work. The column name is actually very uh, obvious to understand. And then we have observed that in terms of the number of records or the number of rows that we will be having, we have approximately 1,90,000. How many number of records were there? Do you remember that? We just now have checked 1,90,757, right? 757. Now, after this, after talking about this number of records, the next interesting pointer is to understand what is actually missing in this data. And all of these things you have to gain in the second step itself of data understanding. Maybe you will say ki just now, as you have mentioned, revenue is something which is not there. I can evaluate this revenue column just by multiplying what are the number of units sold, and we can multiply it with a price per unit. We can multiply it with a price per unit. And with the help of that, we can easily evaluate the revenue also, right? Also, it could be very important in the data understanding itself to check the type mismatch. If there is any type mismatch, for example, you have a date specific column. So with respect to date specific column, it should ideally be of date type. If you feel that the type of this date column is of string type or a text type, so it is completely wrong. You have to convert it to a appropriate type, right? So that is something which you have to understand. By the way, whenever you work on adding some new feature, uh, so this process is what we call as feature engineering. This process is what we call as a feature engineering. So feature engineering is a process in which we will try to do bit of manipulation things to create some sort of a new feature out of it. Okay. So always remember, when you will be working as a data analyst, it is very rarely to get ready-made APIs. It's very rarely. Ready-made APIs means it's very rarely to get the features which you want to evaluate, which you want to visualize. You need to create them. You need to do a feature engineering task on top of it to get the interesting features out of it. So that is very, very important. After understanding the data points, the number of records, the number of columns, the concept of feature engineering, you made a plan and you are ready to do a data preparation task. You are ready to do a data preparation task. So, what this data preparation task all about? Data preparation means that whatever be the records you have, now you will do actual stuff to prepare your data. Maybe in this step, you will do a data cleaning and data pre-processing. Now, how it could be done? We have tools like Power Query in Excel. We can use this specific tool to clean our data, to create some new set of columns, to understand the profit trend. Uh, and further on top of it, we can further move ahead into the visualizations. So, shall we start our practical implementation now to prepare our data first? So, data business understanding is done. Acha, there could be one optional step also, which for now I have missed because we do have data already available. But if let's say you don't have data available, so in between that, you can also spend some time in terms of collecting the data. This happens when the client says that your data or your DB data is available in any of the DB, or it will be available in any of the confidential website internally by the companies itself. So your managers, your team members will let you know about this if let's say you joined as a fresher. But if let's say you are already working in that firm, you might be aware ki where exactly the data storage is done. Is it directly accessible in the form of CSV or Excel file, or is it something which is available in databases and then we have to access the data from any of the DBs via SQL commands? So all of these things you might have to do in this intermediate step, but for now we are skipping it because we already have this data available, right? This is done. Shall we proceed further? And we will talk about this data preparation now. Perfect. So now what we can do, we can have this Excel file available. In this file, we will go to data. Just click on this data, everyone. Just click on this data. And then you have a button of get data. Click on that. In get data, you will be having from file. And in my case, the file is an Excel file. So I will click on this from Excel workbook. So you have to go to data, then get data. In get data, you will go to the Excel part. And now you will try to fetch the file. So over here, we will go ahead and access this data. It will take some time. And after that, you will be able to see a new window appear. Can you check? At your end also similar screen is popping up. Can you check at your end also similar screen is popping up? So over here, you can see we have two options. One is the load button. Another one is the transform button. What is the meaning of a load button? Load means that you don't want to do any data cleaning. You just want to, uh, work towards loading the data entirely. So loading means no data cleaning, directly loading the data. Transform means that over here, I want to first of all do some sort of cleaning steps. I will first of all clean my data and then further I will move ahead and work on it. So for now, do you want to load it or do you want to transform it? Let me know. हमें क्या करना है अभी? हमें लोड करना है या ट्रांसफॉर्म करना है? क्या हमारा डेटा ऑलरेडी रेडी है, क्लीन है? नहीं, वी हैव नॉट क्लीन एनीथिंग. We have to first of all clean it. We have to prepare it. Then maybe I will be ready to load this entirely and then we can work further. ठीक है? Okay. So what I will do is I will just click on this transform button. I will just click on it, transform button. It will take some time. And after that, you will see a new interesting tab will appear. If you will see the above name of this tab, what is this name? Power Query Editor. Power Query Editor. Shall we move further now? Shall we move further now? So we have this Power Query Editor. In this Power Query Editor, first of all, what we want to create is, we want to create a revenue column. But before that, let's have a look whether the type is clear or not, whether the type is correct or not. So again, if you will see, there is a very interesting way to check the type of every column in Power Query Editor. For example, if you have a date column, check corresponding to it on the left-hand side, there will be a calendar which is visible, which indicates that the date column is of date type only. Similarly, we will be having a SKU, which is of ABC type. ABC means it is of categorical or a textual data. Similarly, we have a brand, it will be also of textual data. We have a segment, it is also of textual data. We have a category, which is of textual data. We have a channel, which is of textual data. We have a region, which is of textual data. And so on. So basically, you will be able to observe that for every specific column, we will be having on left side its type. And we have to make sure, just try to do a quick check that whatever columns we have and corresponding to it, whatever type is available, is this appropriate or not? Just have a quick look and just let me know, is this appropriate or not? Is there any specific column where there is a type mismatch and we need to work on converting that type to its appropriate type? Just have a look on the entire set of features, entire set of columns, and just let me know that do we have any specific column where there is a type mismatch? Uh, I'll talk about this, Pranjal, maybe by the end of the discussion. Comparison between Power BI versus Excel and which one is preferable. Actually, every tool has its own purpose and has its own reason. So maybe we'll discuss about it. No mismatch. Everybody agrees on this point. So Abhishek mentioned no mismatch. What about others? What are your insights on this? Is there any type mismatch which is there? No mismatch. Okay. So maybe we can go ahead and click on this transform button. Not transform, adding a column, because for now, we need to do a feature engineering task. What is the meaning of feature engineering task? We need to add few more data points over here. So can you click on this add column button, everyone? Can you click on this add column button? And then you can mention custom column. Over here, you can simply mention what is the new column you want to create. So I want to create a column by the name of revenue. So you can mention that revenue is nothing, but over here, revenue is nothing but units sold. You need to multiply it with a price unit. And you can click on this OK button. As soon as you will click on this OK button, you will get some new column with the name of revenue. Just check over it at your end whether you will be able to get this or not. Just check over it whether you will be able to get this or not. Got it? Unit sold into the price of each unit. I think that is the mathematical formula we should use to get the revenue. All good. Shall we move further? चलें आगे. Now there is an issue. As soon as I did that, there is an issue which appeared. What is that issue? Have you observed that? What is that issue? Have you observed that? As soon as I have tried to create a new column with the name of revenue, there is a D-type mismatch. There is a data type mismatch. So over here, you can see when we are multiplying it, we are getting over here numeric numbers, float type, but the type is ABC123. It means it is indicating that somewhere there is a textual data also available, and we have to fix that problem. We have to fix this issue. So we can say change type, and over here, just right click on this change type, and you can change this type to decimal number. You can change this type to decimal number. And as soon as you will change the type to decimal number, this is the entire column you will be able to get. Just have a look onto it and give me a quick confirmation on this. Yes. All good. ठीक है जी. So revenue we will be able to get it. Maybe my company wants to see on a yearly basis or on a monthly basis whether the growth is there or not, as we have discussed in the starting of the business problem. So what is the next thing we're supposed to do? The next thing where we have to focus right now is how to extract maybe the month name, or how to extract maybe the year from this date specific column. So let's start working on it. So over here, what we can do, we can further create a custom column. And maybe for now, I just want to create a new column with the name of year. I want to create a new column with the name of year. Over here, we can say, I want to extract date dot year, and over here, on which specific column I want to extract year? On a date column, right? So as soon as I click on OK, you will be able to see from the date specific column, I'm easily able to extract the entire year. So for example, you will see for the very first record, the date was 21st Jan 2022. So I'm able to extract the year as 2022 over here. Now the final task, again, there is a D-type mismatch. So I will change the type to its whole number. I think that is fine because it's an year. So it should not be a decimal number. So we can change the type as well. One thing which you must be observing over here is that on the right extreme end, we will be having a list of applied steps. Basically, whatever steps we are applying, we do have a list of all of these steps, which is quite interesting. And this only happens when you work on Power Query Editor. So in Power Query Editor, whatever be the steps that you're performing, all of those steps will be jotted down in the applied steps part, and you can work preferably from these, whatever be the feature engineering task, and everything is actually recorded on the right hand side, which is quite interesting, right? So it's having a memory in a way, which is storing all the individual steps, whatever we are performing to do feature engineering steps over here. All good? Shall we move further? Now let's suppose after this I want to extract the month name. So I have a date column. I want to extract the month name from it. So how can we extract it? So maybe again what I will do, I will click on custom column. I will say I want to extract the month name from it. How will we extract it? So I will say I want to add a text which will start. It will take again date dot month name I want to get, and I will say from a date column up to 3 decimal places. I think there is a syntax issue which is happening. We have to write text dot start. We have a date dot month name, date up to 3 decimal places. Now it is fine. Now, what I'll do, I'll just share with you this formula as well. And you can just click on OK. As soon as you will click on OK, again, there is a type problem. You can change the type to it should be of text type. And now you will be able to see the first 3 characters, January, February, whatever be the month is, the first 3 characters you will be able to see in the entire month name. Okay, is this fine till so far? All good? Shall we move further? We directly also extract using add column using date. Yes, you can also do that, but we are doing in Power Query Editor, and that's why we are performing this specific way. But definitely you can do it in the main Excel sheet as well. It's just that when you perform this in a Power Query Editor, as I have mentioned, whatever steps you are performing, they are actually recorded. So in future, if you want to go back, you just have to click on that specific step and you can go back to that specific file. And that's the main reason Power Query Editor is a better choice whenever you are performing any data cleaning specific task as comparable to doing it directly on the main Excel sheet. All good? So in a way, what we have done till so far, we have seen with respect to cleaning, is there any type mismatch? We will check for missing values also maybe in future, but that is also another thing that we can do. In terms of pre-processing, we have done feature engineering tasks where we have tried to create 3 columns now: year, month name, and the last specific column name is revenue. So these 3 columns we will be able to create successfully. And once that is done, I think everything will be done fine. Now we can click on this home and we can click on this close and load. As soon as we will perform this task, it will take some time. And after that, it will be able to extract the entire data and it will be loaded in the main sheet. And you just have to wait some time. Higher the quantity of data, it will take that much time. So over here, almost 1,90,757 records that we were saying, the number of records that we will be having, they are actually loaded now. So you can see in a very interesting way. If you want, you can change the theme and everything. But I think initial one is also fine. So in this way, we will be able to load our entire cleaned data in the main sheet now, and you will be able to see this queries are there, connections are there. So this query is actually a connected part to the Power Query Editor that we will be having. Yeah, I mean, duplicates are fine. We don't need to check it because many of them are categorical columns. So we might need to create a slicer or filter for that. And even though in the price unit, uh, basically the continuous values, if there are duplicates, it's completely okay. What maybe we need to look for is the missing values, but I don't think we have any blank values over here. But still, you can have a look if we have in this specific data any blank value. I feel there is no blank value available. So right now we are good to go with the further next interesting steps. So basically, uh, it all depends on which specific type of data you are dealing with. In data cleaning part, you might need to maybe handle the missing values. If there are any missing values, you can do any imputation strategies. You can apply any imputation strategies to work on it. Apart from this, you need to work on duplicates. But again, if that makes sense or not, then only just remove the duplicates. In pre-processing stage, maybe doing a feature engineering and further visualizations will make a lot of sense. So all of these are the interesting steps that we have to perform. Done? So I hope till so far everything is clear. You just have to click on data, then get data from file, Excel workbook. As soon as you will click over there, select whatever file you want to load. Automatically, you will get a new tab. Maybe once the session will be over, you guys will get the recordings of the session. So you can have a look onto it, how basically we can access that Power Query Editor. So that specific tab will automatically appear where you have two options, load or transform. Load is something where you simply want to load the entire data. Transform is something where you want to make changes in your data and further after that you want to load it. So currently what we have done over here is we have first of all transformed our data, did all the necessary changes, and after that we have actually worked on doing a loading part. Now what's the next step? What's the next step? That's the interesting question we have to ask from ourselves. So yep, the next step could be the fourth step, I would say. Once you prepare your data, now you have to work on getting a data analysis part done. Maybe in data analysis part, you will work on creating the visuals. You will work on creating the visuals, interesting visuals out of it. Now, in the journey of Excel, it's quite interesting to do the analysis with the help of a concept of pivot tables and pivot visualizations. So it's quite easy, simple, and fun to create the pivot table, and on top of it, to visualize the interesting stuffs out of it, right? So how can we create a pivot table? It's very simple. You have to go to the Insert tab, and in the Insert tab, you will get an interesting button called as Pivot Table. You have to click on Pivot Table, and then you need to mention what is that table is all about. You can just name that table. Uh, Maybe you can just give a name of, for now, pivot table. Do you want to get that new pivot table on a new worksheet or on an existing worksheet? Maybe I just want to get it in a new worksheet. I'll click on OK button. There is some referencing problem. Let's try to see it again. Just put the cursor over here, wherever you want to refer. Then click on pivot table. Now it is, I think, exactly correct. Click on OK button. Yeah, now it is done. So rename it if you want. I have forget to rename it. Pivot table name also you can rename it. But for now, let's take it as it is default one. So over here, you will be able to see I am able to get a new interesting sheet. You can rename this sheet as well. Where on the right side, you will observe that I have all the pivot table fields starting from date, SKU, brand, segment till the month name. And at the very end, I will be having the fields available, which actually indicates the filters, the columns, the rows, and the values. So now the next idea is to create the interesting tables and correspond to those tables. We want to create the interesting visuals, and definitely we can rename it in a amazing way. So shall we move further and talk about how can we do that? चले आगे. Shall we move further? And now we can work around with a visuals part. Okay, perfect. I hope everything is clear till so far, whatever we have covered up. Okay. Now these visuals depends on what are the business problems we are solving. Okay. For example, we want to see that based on year and the month name, how much is the total sum of revenue and the total sum of units sold. I want to compare that. So what I can do, I can take as a row year and the name of the month, and I can take as a value the sum of revenue and the sum of units sold, right? So over here, what I can do is I can create a pivot chart corresponding to it. Now you have to understand that what could be the best visual to represent all these things. Whenever you want to compare the growth, for example, we want to see the total sum of revenue based on year or based on month, right? So better idea could be to create a line chart. So whenever you want to showcase a trend, whether it's a positive trend or a negative trend, line chart is something which we can do it in an effective way. I will click on OK button, and as soon as I will click on that, this is how it looks like. So if I will just, if we want, maybe we can take few effective colors to demonstrate this in a interesting way. So you can see. So you can see over here from 2022 to 2024 as an year data that we will be having. This orange line indicates the sum of units sold. This bluish line indicates the sum of revenue. And over here, we can interestingly see that the trend is somehow going up from 2022 to 2023. And afterwards, there is a decrease and then increase when we talk about in the upcoming year 2024. So this is how the whole trend looks like. Now, if we want to filter any specific year, for example, I just want to look for 2023. So I can just select that, and based on that, you will be able to see the entire table and the entire visual will get changed. I hope it is clear to everyone. So we can see over here in 2023 from January to December, there is a sharp peak in the mid of June. After that, there's a sharp decline uh, till mid of August. Then there is further decline, and then the things got stagnant from October to December. So basically, in this specific way, we can select any specific month, we can select any specific year. If we don't select anything, automatically every specific year and month will be appear. If we select any specific year, we can do further deeper analysis on top of it. But this is how our plot corresponding to it will look like. Is this clear to everyone? Is this okay? So you can just rename it as, maybe you can create individual visuals, individual files corresponding to it. So you can say that over here, we are focusing on year, month, based on revenue and units sold. Similarly, we can create further interesting, again, I'll go back to the insert part. I can create a new pivot table. I'll click on OK. And then I'll create some other interesting visual to get a further understanding of another specific part. Maybe right now I might be working on categorical entry. So maybe in the rows part, I will consider category. So you just have to drag and drop with the corresponding field. In the values part, again, I might take the revenue, sum of revenue, and I might take again the sum of units sold. Now I am doing a deeper analysis based on categorical part. Maybe I just want to check what are the top 10 categories which actually impacting the higher sales or which actually impacting the higher number of units sold. So again, what I can do, I can click on this pivot chart. I can maybe work around with interesting plots. Now, what could be the best plot? Maybe the bar plot is the best plot over here. I can click on OK button. And as soon as I click on OK button, you will be able to see, again, I'm getting a very interesting plot corresponding to it. So if I'll ask you what is actually the top maybe 3 or 4 products or categories which actually impacting the sales specific part. So I can say maybe the yogurt is something where the revenue is quite huge, followed by snack bar, followed by ready meal, followed by milk, and then juice. So over here, if we want, we can also fill these numbers, these values, what are the exact values that we're getting with respect to the yogurt, snack bar, ready meal, and so on. But if I'll ask you which categories have both lower revenue and lower units sold, so what will be your answer? So we can create some interesting insights out of it, right? Or company can make further effective decisions based on it. So over here, if I'll ask you which specific category, what is the question I'm asking? I'm asking which specific categories have both low, I would say, total revenue and low units sold. So what will be your answer? You will say it's very easy for me to answer now because we do have created this kind of interesting plots. So it will be nothing but a juice. Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys agree with me? Similarly, so over here, we can again rename this sheet as, we can say it is talking about mm, categories versus, again, we can say revenue versus units sold. है ना? This is the data, or you can say cleaned data. ठीक है? Done. Similarly, in the above part, if I'll ask you a question that in which specific year there is a sharp decrease in the sales revenue part, in the total revenue part. So what will be your answer? You might say ki it will be in 2023, most probably in the year of October, right? So that's how we can answer these specific questions in a very effective way once we will be able to get the interesting insights from the plots. Now, what are the suggestions you can provide to the clients to improve the performance? Maybe we can say ki you need to enhance the marketing efforts to increase the brand awareness with respect to maybe juice specific part, because many people might not be aware about that. That's why the total revenue or the low unit sold part will be very low. We need to introduce the promotional discounts maybe in order to boost the sales. We need to conduct some customers preferences, customer surveys to understand that what is the feedback. Maybe there is some quality issue, maybe their preferences are a bit different in terms of getting the juices, or maybe we can work on improving the offerings. So basically, based on our analysis, we can further think about the recommendations part in a DA perspective ki how can we further optimize the performance, and we can work towards getting the better insights of it, right? Similarly, we can further create another, we'll go to cleaned data now, and we can go to insert, create a new pivot table. And over here, we can think about the brands. What are the top brands by revenue? So for that, what we can do, we can click in the row part, the brand. In the column part, again, the total sum of revenue. है ना? So again, if I will just have to create the pivot table based on this, we need to go with the bar chart again. And over here, with respect to designs, again, we can go to similar design over here. So if I'll ask you maybe which specific brand uh, will provide a better sum of revenue. So we can get that. Maybe we can do one more thing. We can do one more thing. Maybe let's try to see about some other interesting plots if we can create. Pivot charts. What about these column chart? Or not a simple column chart, maybe the clustered column. Let me have a look onto that. For now, let's take it as a column chart. So clustered column chart is something which is again is very helpful in terms of a categorical data only to identify the regions, the categories. It's like when you select the bar plot, you will get the categories in the y-axis. When you select a clustered column chart, you will get on the x-axis. So now if I'll ask you which specific brand is actually generating a highest revenue, so what will be your answer? So you will definitely clearly see over here, SN brand 2 is the, actually highest revenue generating brand. If I'll ask you which specific brand is at the very lower side, so you will say it could be M brand 2, if I'm not wrong. So as per that, maybe the brand MI brands 2, sorry, my bad. It's a MI brand 2. So the brand which is actually having a very low sum of revenue. Now what insights we can share to them? Maybe they can work on strengthening the visibility or promotions for a lower performing brand side. They should introduce some combo packs. They should introduce some limited time offers to boost the trials. They should ideally focus on channel specific strategies so that there will be a stronger online presence for these weaker brands. They could introduce some packaging, or they could optimize some product so that the new customers will attract automatically. So we can provide these kind of strategies to this weaker brands so that they will also be a part of a higher revenue portion in the upcoming years, in the upcoming months or the quarters, right? So this is the thing that we will be having. So over here, we can rename this and we can say this is a brand specific part and this is based on the revenue. Done. Apart from this, I'll again go back. We need to think about the region. So over here, we can take region as a row, which is a very important insight. And then we can take a sum of revenue as a values part. You can also select the unit sold as well. Now again, you can go ahead and create a plot for the same. Now, which specific plot is preferable? That is something which we have to get. Maybe because we want to look for the distribution, the pie plot would be a better choice. So if I'll ask you over here, which specific region is contributing the highest sum of revenue? Which specific region is contributing the highest sum of revenue? So your answer will be very simple. It could be PL North. It could be PL North, right? If we want, I have created a 3D site. You can create a 2D and you can get the understanding from there as well. Uh, it's all your wish. But in this way, we can see that which specific region is actually performing well and which specific region actually needs more improvisation. So which specific region is actually having a lower, I would say, sum of revenue part. What do you think? पीएल सेंट्रल इसको थोड़ा सा इजीली हमें समझ में नहीं आ रहा तो मुझे लगता है कि वी शुड प्रेफरेबली गो विद अ 2D वाला चार्ट आई थिंक दिस वुड बी बेटर देन दैट एंड ओवर हियर वी कैन गो टू फिल over here actually we also get an option to fill the percentage also. So I'm just looking onto that. I don't remember it exactly where is that available, but I'm pretty sure it is there. It is there. Anybody remembers that? It's in labels. Huh. Very good. So you can see data labels over there. And I think in data labels also, can we get more options on that? Mhm. ठीक है. I mean, I think we can make it much better by looking onto the, this is what I was looking for. Percentage of it. This is what I was looking for. I think this is better now because getting the numbers is actually quite weird. But if we get the percentage that is actually better. So that's what I was looking for. Now you can see over here that somehow this PL, this PL North and PL Central. Is it Central? Yes, they both have a similar percentage, but PL South is having a higher percentage. So what it actually indicates is कि somehow PL South is contributing more towards some of revenue, whereas the other two regions, which is South and Central, are performing equally well in terms of getting the total sum of revenue. That's the whole point. I think it is clear and perfectly visible to everyone. So over here we can say that over here we got region based on a revenue part. Done, everyone? Now, in all these visuals, in all of these visuals, it's very, very important to understand that at what point of time, which specific visual is very, very important. So there are very few interesting insights which I always share in all my discussions and in all my classes to the learners. It's not a strict rule, but I always preferably say that because this is what I have experienced from my experience till so far. See, whenever you are dealing with a categorical based data, when you have a categorical based data and you want to compare the performance with respect to any continuous data. For example, today we have seen with respect to the sum of revenue or sum of units sold. In that specific case, maybe the best choice to create the visuals is either the bar chart or the clustered column chart or the clustered column chart. Any of them could be better. Bar chart is preferable when you have too many categories. So when you will be having too many categories, maybe you will ideally go with a bar chart. But when you will be having a limited, I would say, categories, it's better to go for a clustered column chart. Okay. So this is something which is important to understand. Further, if you want to showcase any trend to the data set, for example, you want to showcase whether it's a downward trend or a upward trend. So in that specific scenario, in that specific use case, the better idea could be to go for a pie chart. Or there is also called as a donut chart that we have. They both are actually same. Oh, my bad. Not pie chart. It's for distribution. For trend, it is a line chart, sorry. So when you want to showcase any trend, it would be downward or upward. Line chart is preferable. I was just talking about the distribution part. So when you want to showcase a distribution of any specific plot, for example, just now we have covered up region-wise distribution. So in that case, what I was talking about is pie chart or the donut chart is preferable. They both are exactly similar. I hope you have pizza and donut. Donut is having a hole in between. So any of these charts you can create, they will give a better understanding of uh, how the distributions are there, right? Similarly, if let's say you want to showcase the relationship among two continuous features, you want to showcase the relationship among two features, specifically continuous features, scatter plot is preferable. So it will showcase that whether the two features are positively correlated or negatively correlated. Positive means that if one feature is increasing, another one is also increasing. Negative means if one of the feature is increasing, the second one, the another one is decreasing. So that is where the scatter plot will come into picture. Similarly, if let's say you want to showcase the outliers in your data with respect to any specific column, if you want to showcase the exact outliers in a data, in that specific case, in that specific context, box plot is a preferable choice. Okay, in that specific scenario, box plot is a preferable choice. What else we have? I'm just thinking in my head. If you want to showcase the distribution of any given data. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are aware about the types of distribution of a given data. It could be a skewed distribution, something like left or right skewed. For example, we have a right skewed distribution, or we have a left skewed distribution, or it could be a symmetrical distribution like normal distribution. So either it is a skewed one or it is a symmetrical one. In both of these scenarios, in both of these distributions, a histogram plot is quite preferable. Histogram plot is quite preferable. So this is how basically we have to think about the visuals part. So depending upon what exact use case we are solving, what exact plot we want to draw, accordingly you need to think about that specific plot. And this is how basically I am also creating, you will observe that corresponding plot. So everywhere you will see, when I just want to see based on any specific date, year, month, quarter, I am creating a line chart. You will observe when we have a categories available, I shift it to the bar plot. When I have over here brand again categories available, I moved over here clustered column chart. As soon as I want to check the distribution based on a region, percentage wise, I move to the pie plot or pie chart. That's how basically we have to think about it. Similarly, if we want, we can again go ahead to the clean data, and now we can work further towards thinking about the revenue share by channel. So what we can do over here, we can take in the row channel part, and we can take in the column revenue part, and we can go to this pivot chart, and over here you can see this is the donut chart which I was talking about. So this is how actually it looks like. So you can again, if you want, you can create this kind of a plot. So over here you can see again, you can add data labels. You can check in terms of percentage. You can remove these values. You can shift it to, it is fine, I think. Yeah. So over here, we can say what we are looking for is revenue share by channel. So over here, you can see it in a very effective way that how this plot looks like. So we can see ki, which specific channel will have a highest revenue? Retail. So you can observe effectively over here. Retail is having a, I think, higher set of values, right? Then discount and e-commerce, they both are similar. If you want, you can filter it down, and let's say I just want to see for retail and discount. So this is the percentage we have. If I will look for e-commerce and retail, this is the percentage we have. If I look for all of them, this is the percentage we have. It's fine. It's okay. So in donut chart, you will observe in between there is a big hole that we will be having, right? Discount is something which belongs to over here. Discount is something which belongs to this orangish, this bluish region. E-commerce is orangish, retail is the green one. So that's what we have. Perfect. All good. So now, what are the findings based on this specific, in this specific plot? Maybe we can focus marketing more towards in regions or channels where there is a lowest performance. We can evaluate the visibility in the underperforming channels. So over here, the underperforming channels are e-commerce and discount. So maybe over there, the companies should effectively work on it. to get the better insights of it, right? Now, similarly, we can also work towards getting the promotional part. So first of all, let's rename it. So we have a revenue share by channel. Done. Again, what we can do, we can go back to our clean data. We can go to insert. We can create a pivot table. And over here, the next part we have to think about is the promotions. So we have in a row name, the month name. And in the column part, we can treat a promotional flag, which is either 0 or 1. And the values part, we can take sum of revenue, we can take sum of units sold, we can take average of this price unit. So we can say that we are looking for, where is that gone? Yeah. Average. Okay. So we get the average of price unit. Now, what we can do, we can effectively create the plot corresponding to it. We can again go to the pivot chart. We can create maybe the clustered column chart. And over here, we can create the suitable design. And we can effectively see over here how this plot looks like. So over here, we are getting, based on this 0 and 1 promotional flags, what is the sum of revenue? What is the sum of units sold? And the last one is the average of the price unit. So if you want, you can filter the promotional flag. For example, you just want to look for one. So this is the plot that we are having, which indicates over here the sum of revenue in the January month. And over here, the sum of units sold, the orangish line, which indicates like that. All good. So you can just make a header of this plot. If you want, you can make it a text box. So how can we create it? Let me check. I think we usually have a button. Yeah, chart title. So over here, we can say this chart title is actually about total revenue based on promo versus known promo, right? So this is what we are getting. So I hope you are getting a quick insight now that how can we create the interesting visuals out of it using the uh, pivot table concept, known promo based on the sum of revenue. Is this okay? Is this clear? Now I have displayed a lot of interesting visuals over here with respect to the unique sheets that we will be having. In every specific part, you have observed one thing. I am again and again going to my clean data, clicking on this insert button, creating a pivot table altogether, and whatever insight I want to get, for that, I'm just clicking on this drag and drop, and corresponding to that, I'm able to create the corresponding visual by going under this pivot charts that we will be having. Same thing, same insights, the same part of doing, but the as per the different questions that we will be having, the focus will be different. In every specific visual, we are getting something different as per the results. And that's the whole point of doing the complete end-to-end data analysis. Before I will proceed further, can I get a quick confirmation? Is this clear to everyone? All good? All good? Is this okay till so far? Now, let's take this much for today because it's the first session and I want everyone to do this much, whatever I have covered up till so far. But what I'm expecting from your end, I always give tasks in my session. The objective is whenever we do any project, whenever we do any demonstration, whenever we do any implementation of any specific project, things looks very simple when we see any video, when we discuss in a live mode also, because your mentor is doing that specific task. So you might feel that things are not that much difficult, right? But as soon as you will do it at your end, you will face a lot of challenges. There will be hundred of questions which will pop up in your head. At the time you will start working on it. So it's very important that if let's say you are listening the session for 1 or 2 hours and you have seen that how the entire demonstration workflow will be there, after that you will spend double of that time with you as a self study so that you will gain a deeper understanding of that specific context. There are so many columns which are still left untouched. For example, there is a column called as SKU. So can you give me the insights in the next session with respect to SKU versus sum of rows, not sum of rows, sum of revenue, or maybe the sum of units sold. So can we create the interesting plots on it? Think about it, which specific plot will be better in this specific scenario. After this, think about creating end-to-end dashboard. Till so far, we have just done one specific visual in one specific sheet. Now, what is the meaning of dashboard? Dashboard means that you have one end-to-end screen in which all the visuals are plotted in one go. So I don't need to go sheet to one sheet and another sheet to check different insights, different results. Can I have one specific sheet where all the visuals will be there? So that is where you have to do a linking with respect to whatever sheets we have created right now. Linking with respect to the sheets we have created right now. So try to do it. Try to create a dashboard end to end with respect to whatever be the insights we have got. There is a very interesting concept called as KPIs. Just explore about this concept. Can we get a sales growth percentage? The overall growth with respect to my firm, whether my company is growing or not. If my company is growing, by how much percentage it is growing. So that is something which is still left. And once you will be able to do all of these things, then I would say that we will be able to create end-to-end project. So these things are still pending, which we will cover up in our next discussion. But before coming to the next session, I want you guys to spend your own time and work on it to get the clear-cut picture of SKU column, to get the clear-cut picture on creating a dashboard, linking the dashboard with the original subsheets that we will be having, to create the KPIs and to check the growth percentage, that whether the company is growing or not, if the company is growing by how much percentage. See all of these things, and if you get it, I will look forward towards your demonstration. And if you are facing any challenges, just write your question and then maybe I will try to help you out in the next upcoming class. One more thing before we will wrap up for today is the step number 5. Let's suppose that we are done with a complete data analysis. We created our visuals, we have dashboard ready with us, and we did all our tasks also, which I have shared with you today. Let's say you have spent time and you have completed this task. Your question might be, Ki Priya, once I have finished all of these things, is my project is ready with respect to a dashboard? The answer is no. I mean, in terms of deliverables, yeah, it is ready. But it's very important that when we talk about any data science project, any data analyst project, to focus on the communication part as well. Or I would say to focus on data storytelling skills as well. What does this exactly mean? It simply means that over here, our main focus will be to explain our work, whatever our key findings are, in a very effective way to the clients. See, the clients, the stakeholders with which you will work, they might not be the technical person. So if you will say some big technical words, they might feel jargons to them. They don't know that what exactly that simply mean. You know? So we have to explain the work, the insights, the recommendations with proof and in a very good way so that they will find trust in your work. Now, you should have a very good way of communication in terms of sharing your work. I have observed so many people who are not doing well in their work just because they are lacking this communication skill. They are very good with the technical stuff, but as and when the point of showcasing their work will come into picture, they won't be able to do it in an effective way. So companies or managers or the bigger team structure feels like that person doesn't have any idea. So I would say right now, because we are in an era where we will be having effective tools with the help of which we can work in a very smart way. So getting the results or extracting the insights are not difficult. What is difficult is that communicating them in an appropriate way and helping the clients to understand that what actually the exact work you have done, what actually the final findings that you have made. And this is something which is very, very important to do. So that's the important point. Ki if you feel shy, if you feel that I'm not comfortable in explaining my work to other person, for example, tomorrow if I will ask from you and if you will feel that, oh, what other person will think if I'll share something wrong to them, this is a very wrong mindset, and with this mindset you will never able to explain your things in a very smooth way. So you have to start explaining first of all by yourself. You can maybe come in front of your mirror and just explain whatever work you have done. You can see your gestures, your hand movements, your confidence. Then you can explain to your friends, to your family members, and then to your mentor, and then to your clients. So once you will start explaining step by step to these people, you will get a better confidence to speak in the conferences, in the bigger level of, I would say, conferences, meetings, and everywhere. So that is something which is very, very important right now, because if you don't have that specific skill set, even though you have a very good technical skills, you will be lagging at the end of the day. And you'll be like, yeah, I have a very good technical knowledge, but still I'm not able to get a good promotion. I'm not able to get a good package. The only reason is your communication skills. So you have to focus a lot in terms of that specific perspective also, especially if you want to enter into the domain of data analyst or data engineering or data scientist. Okay. So let's take this much till so far. And whatever discussions I have done now, I will try to share the notes and the Excel file with everyone. And after that, I will open the stage for everyone. If you want to come on stage and ask any sort of questions, you can ask. And after that, we will wrap up the discussion.